Okay, I just wanted to go through a couple of things in FTL that the tutorial didn't already go over, because one of my friends just bought this game and I love this game. It's fantastic, and so I just kind of wanted to show a few things just to emphasize some of the stuff that they didn't show. One of the things that they did not show was I didn't notice. They probably did, but I maybe didn't read it all that great. It was this up here shows your engines icon, which also shows you how much evasion that your ship has. This is your oxygen, which shows up how much oxygen is in your ship. The evasion, and so if I depower one of the engines here, my evasion goes down. If I put more power into it, my evasion goes up. That is the same. If I take this guy out of here, it goes down again. So now it's 15%. Now it's 10% because I have all this power in there, and it was 20% because here. So, and then that also goes down again if I take my pilot out. If I take my pilot out, this evasion goes down to 0 because I have nobody piloting the ship. Even if I take my pilot out, but I do have this guy in engines, my evasion is still 0% because I don't have anybody piloting the ship. So that is kind of a crucial thing just to know. So I'm going to put this guy back in engines to get my engines, just to keep my evasion up as high as I can really on the game. I wasn't going to do this fight. I was going to kind of go through and show a store, make sure I showed a fight and then the store, but my first jump actually came to this, and there was a guy that had boarded my ship. So I did kind of want to show this for a couple of things. I wanted to show how they fight, what happens when you fight, and then also for some of the manning of systems. I talked about manning engines, I talked about manning piloting, and what those things do. The other two systems that you really want to make sure that you man, if you can, is weapons and shields. If you man your weapons, your weapons charge faster. You shoot faster, you kill the enemy ship faster. That's good. If you man shields, your shields charge faster. That means when they shoot at you, you have a higher percentage of recharging your shields before the next shot hits you. That is also good. So the engines, weapons, shields, and piloting are probably the 4 most important systems to man. The other systems that and then there are lots of other effects that happen when you man some of the other systems. I can't think of anything that happens if you man the oxygen percentage. I don't actually know if your oxygen goes up. I don't think it does faster. I highly doubt it does. Might. I've never noticed or looked. But if you man your doors, your doors actually get a point in doors. Right now, this guy who's in my ship can move throughout the ship freely. One of the things that I can do is I can click on this door and it will open the door. So what I'm going to do, because this guy has managed or has infiltrated my ship, is, and I'm actually going to do this suboptimally because just to emphasize a point of what's happening here. I'm going to move this guy over into doors, and then I'm going to move this guy up into my medbay for 2 reasons. Because I'm going to put him here because I want this guy to stop attacking shields, and I want to bring a guy over here that I can attack him with. Also, I'm going to move this guy into doors because I want this guy to be stuck in a room. And so I'm going to, and I'm charging all this stuff. So I'll kind of talk about this as I do it. So they're kind of moving over there now. This guy's going to, so now my oxygen is draining in these rooms. This guy and both my guys are moving over. So now this guy's getting in here. Look at the doors are orange. When he gets there, they turn gray. So now this guy's managing the system. My doors are stronger. This guy can no longer move freely throughout my ship, and he's going to have to fight through the doors in order to get to the next system. So I'm going to take this, but the oxygen has not yet drained from this room to the point to where he is going to want to move yet. I'm going to just keep him here because I think that it might actually get there before he takes down this point. So I'm just going to kind of keep an eye on that. And the way that I keep an eye on that is just by hitting the pause button. So he fired a missile here that I also noticed actually in the meantime while I was talking. So I'm going to kind of make sure that this burst laser hits these weapons. And then I'm going to move this here just in case this missile hits my weapons. I want my burst laser 2 to keep charging versus my Artemis. So let's kind of go through this slowly. Okay, so now he stopped attacking this these shields and is going to try and move to the next room because there's no oxygen in this room. So he's going to move to the sensors. So I'm going to go ahead and move this guy back over to engines because that's not true. I'm going to move him over to weapons because I want my weapons to charge faster now because of what this guy has. He has the same weapons that I have, and that's actually a really strong setup. So I want my weapons to charge faster so I can try and hit his systems. So this guy is kind of see how he has to beat up this door. He can no longer move freely throughout the ship, and that's because I have a guy who can doors. This is gonna it's either going here or here probably. So that's good for me. Awesome. So now, actually, okay, that fired. I want to make sure that I am gonna fire this Artemis because I have to get these weapons down because. All right, so I'm gonna. Let's see what happens here. Okay, he hit my shields. Yeah, now I really have to get that down. So let's see. Okay, so I took down all of his weapons here. So I want to... And now, you know what? Now what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to have him fight this guy here. And I'm going to oh, I can't close all my doors because they hit my doors. So that's actually fine. It's actually fine. Because he's not firing at me. So now I'm just... I am going to just go ahead and attack this guy. I am going to move my pilot over because I no longer have to dodge. So the more guys that are fighting this guy, I don't have to do this, but the more guys that are fighting this guy, the less damage my guys are going to take. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I don't have, like I said, I don't use shields. I'm going to keep this weapon going faster. The other thing that is taking place in this fight is this says enemy FTL is charging. So they are currently actively manning their piloting because they're trying to get the heck out of Dodge because they think I'm going to kick the crap out of them, which I am. So, but one of the ways that I'm going to stall that now is by, I'm going to shoot, so now that their weapons are totally down, I'm going to shoot at the piloting, and I may even shoot at this. No, I'm not actually. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to shoot a missile at the shields to increase the to let my burst laser, all 3 shots go at the pilot. So that's going to go right now. They beat this up here. Notice also in this particular thing. So now we were fighting in my sensors. Notice all these rooms were gray prior to that. Now, because I'm manning the sensor system, it upgrades my sensors. So now I can actually see what is going on in the other ship. I know that they have 3 guys. They got 1 guy repairing their weapons. They're all humans, so they're going to repair at a normal rate. And then this guy's moving back to the ship, and then they're also piloting. So I shot a missile at the shield to see if it hits. Beautiful. So one of the things that happens here is that now, because there is a fire in here, that is going to move a couple of extra guys down here. If this shot and it just disabled the system, the pilot would stay in here and this enemy FTL would continue charging. But because there is a fire, that's going to bring as many guys down here as they can. He wants to put 2 guys in here basically to put out the fires. He can't put this guy in here because he has no med bay. He's almost dead, and then and this is going down. This is actually an interesting situation because you know what? It's interesting because I could maybe get a crew kill, but I'm not actually going to because I want this, for the sake of this, to go faster. I want to take down this, and then basically the fires destroy the system. So now, actually, I'm going to go ahead and move everybody back to where stuff started, just to see if I can hit a store on this next jump. Here, just before I do anything, a lot of times in nebulas there aren't anything. So some of these there's distress beacons, which actually sometimes get you more events versus other things. I saw this beacon, so this one. One of the things about I wanted to show this about jumping to beacons. So now when I am at these beacons, I'm at this one, so I can see kind of what's going on at all these little lines that are attached. I can't see anything here because I don't have an augmentation called long-range scanners, but I can see that this says distress. I know that there's a distress. The other things that I would see without long-range scanners is whether or not there's a store, and that's I'm really looking for a store here real quick because I really want to. Oh, this is bad. Okay, well I'm not gonna win this fight, so I'm gonna go ahead because of exactly what I did there. But I wanted to. So maybe I'll just kind of go through some of the other ships. We'll enter the systems and see what happens to see if I can find a store first. But so I talked about manning systems. I wanted to talk about races. Humans, their strength, they're just the very basic race in the game. Their strength is that they learn how to man systems faster than any other race. Another race are these little guys, are called NGs. They repair things faster, they move at a normal rate, but they fight. Their fighting skills are not very good at all, and they get the crap kicked out of them. These guys right here are Mantis. They are the best fighters in the game. They do more damage than any other race when they are fighting in hand-to-hand combat. They also move very quickly throughout the ship. They're very, very slow at repairing, so they suck at repairing. These little green guys are called Zoltans. They have less health. Most races in the game have 100 health. These guys, I think they have 70 or 75. So they have less health than any other race in the game. They fight at a normal speed, but they're going to die faster because they have less health. The strength that they do have is they actually supply a reactor power by being in a room. So these guys basically give you more power, which is really good. I talked about Mantis, which are the fighters. These guys are slugs. Slugs move at a normal rate. They fight at a normal rate. They repair at a normal rate. The things about slugs is that normally they actually function as pseudo-sensors. So in order to see what's going on the other ship, typically you have to have sensors on your ship. With slugs, they can you can see the bodies on the other ships and how many there are and where they're moving and those kinds of things. They also can't be mind controlled. So basically, slugs have great minds. They're good, and they give you a fair amount of blue options on your events. These are Rockmen. Rockmen have 150 health versus 100. They fight at a normal rate, but they are good fighters because they have more health. A guy with 100 health versus a guy with 150 health. The guy with 150 health is going to win, obviously, if you fight at the same speed. The only problem with them is that they move very, very slowly throughout the ship compared to any other race. But one of their strengths is that they don't take damage from fire, and they can put out fires quicker than any other race. And I think that is all of the races. Some of the systems that I wanted to talk about quickly is a drone system, which I'll hit this quick. This is your drone system. The NG ship starts with a combat drone, so I'm going to go ahead and power these up. Oops, not right now. Power that up and try and hit the ship here real quick. I didn't see any stores here, so it's fine. So what I wanted to show how drones work. So I'm going to take this ion blast and I'm going to go ahead and start firing it. So the way ions are different. I'm going to talk quickly about the different kinds of weapons. Ions, they disable systems. They don't do damage to systems. Missiles, they talked about missiles. Missiles use your missiles resources, and they penetrate all shields and do damage to the system, but it is a limited and finite resource, which makes them good but more difficult to use. You saw the burst laser 2. Those just are guns. Basically, they fire shots, which one hits a shield, and then after they bypass the shields, they can do damage to the system. The last type of weapon is called a laser. This is a little mini beam, and lasers do not, or beam weapons don't penetrate shields, but they do significant damage to your hull. So I'm going to go ahead and let this go. And it's gonna the ion is gonna take down this shield, and it's gonna stay down for a while. So I'm gonna arm my combat drone. Here he is. It's this little guy down here. He's gonna travel his way around the ship, and this is a combat drone, so he's gonna shoot at the ship. I don't have any control of where it shoots, but that's basically just kind of how this ship is going to work. That's okay. So now this is going. Okay, now I'm gonna power that back up. I'm gonna go ahead and keep firing at that, and this is going down. So this is how. That's how drones work. There's different kinds of drones. There's defense drones, and then there's these combat drones. There's beam drones. There's fire drones, and you can kind of see how they all work. Whenever you use a drone, it also uses a drone part. So every time I click this guy, he's going to use a drone part, and it's going to have to drone. So that's how drones work. So I'm going to go ahead and get out of this. I'm going to go back to the hangar. And the other thing I wanted to show was how a teleporter works. So I'm going to go ahead and pick this ship. So the way a teleporter works is I am going to take a couple of guys, move them down into my teleportation system, and then I'm going to take this guy who's down in shields, and I'm going to move him up into this, to make more evasion here. Good, there's a store. So I'm gonna go here first just to see if I can show you how a teleporter works and what the benefits and everything of it are first. Okay, so now I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go to a store just to show you what's in a store, and then also how it kind of works. So basically, this is the UI that comes up when you go into a store. They try and sell you things. You can buy fuel, weapons, drones. Sometimes they will sell you weapons, this is how you're going to acquire the weapons that get you through the game. It also they'll also sell you augmentations for your ship. And they all do different things. You just basically kind of read them and show you what they do. The things to look at for stores, sometimes there will be tabs here and here. You'll see a page 1 and a page 2. Make sure you look at all the pages. The other things that you can buy in stores is something that looks like this, except you'll see little guides. So you can buy new personnel for your ship as well. And then also, instead of something that looks like this, instead of augmentations, you'll see systems. So that's where you buy like cloaking, hacking, mind control, those kinds of things. The best system in the game is hacking. I'm not really going to go into that now, basically, but what it does is it shuts down an entire system, and it allows you to basically have your will with the next ship. So just know that hacking is the best. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to avoid this, and I'm going to go ahead and try find a ship here so I can show how the teleportation system works quick. Reject. Oh, this sucks. Come on. Okay. Well, this is bad. So this is what's called a Zoltan shield. One of the downsides about this kind of ship is you can't teleport and bypass a Zoltan shield. So I have to and that is this green line here, actually. Jesus. So this green, as this goes down, once this is down, you can bypass normal shields. Wow. I should have been going and repairing this first of all. But you can bypass normal shields, but you can't bypass. But you can't bypass a Zoltan shield. So you have to tear it down before you can actually move in. He's repaired. That's back up here now. Let's see if I can get. I will be so now. Also, one of the things this is your jump button. Every time you enter combat, it starts at 0. You have to let that charge in order for you to jump so you have to fight a ship for a period of time before you can actually just jump away from it. That charges faster the more power I have in my engines. So that's something to keep in mind. I'm gonna keep going at this just because I wanted to teleport over here and show you that. I think I should be able to do this before. Kick the crap out. Okay, good. So now that Zoltan's shield is down. They have not killed my teleporter yet. I'm gonna move my these guys over here. I'm gonna stick them right there because I know that there's gonna be somebody. There's always something coming. And I'm gonna beat the crap out of these guys. And this stuff is gonna get fixed. I'm gonna move you over there and fix while you guys are beating the crap out of them. What's gonna happen here now is that my guys are gonna beat up their guys, and there's not gonna be any personnel left on the ship, and that is going to allow me. See, so now it says you find a weapon. You find a weapon on the ship, so that's good. When you kill a ship by defeating the people on it instead of blowing it up, you typically get more rewards. But if you didn't notice, it was actually significantly difficult for me to. I took a lot of damage, so you have to really figure out how you can reduce the amount of damage that you take when you do the teleportation stuff to try and beat up their guys. So now as I'm going through repairing all my systems, and then I'm also using my med bay to heal up these little peons before I move to my next ship, because I want my guys to be healed before I can go, and then also basically that's how these Mantis ships work. So I think I talked about what to shoot. You almost always want to shoot weapons down. Pausing is super important. Don't underestimate the importance of pausing. If there's one thing in the game that you can do to increase your chances of making it to the next beacon and surviving ships, is pause. That way you always know what's going on in the game, and then you can reevaluate the next decision that you have to make. We talked about stores, and we talked about evasion. We talked about drones and teleport. Great. So that is my quick tutorial. And it is a fantastic game. Enjoy it.